Welcome to Marketing Made Simple TV. I'm Jeff Ogden, the host of the show, and we're thrilled to have you back once again for another great guest. This is the book that our guest wrote, Source Selling, How to Close More Business, Get Into Any Account You Want, and How to Get Through to Almost Anyone. It's a proven method for reaching executive decision makers, David and Mahrnelle Hibbard. So let's welcome them to the show.
Thanks,
Hi,
Jeff.
David and Mahrnelle.
Thank you, Jeff.
Here.
Good to have you on the show. Yes, and I'd like to start you off with
Good to be on the show.
Good. Let's start you off with a simple question. I ask every guest on the show the same thing. Who are you and what do you do?
We are David and Mahrnelle Hibbard. We are co-authors of this book, Source Selling. We are married 29 years. We are speakers and trainers. And we have written this book called Source Selling, which is the #1 demand generation solution in North America.
But before that, I would say, honestly, Jeff, who we are, we're salespeople. We started our career in selling. So from high commission to Procter & Gamble to
Commercial
real estate. So we're really salespeople, and we have a passion for being in sales.
Good. And I think one of the biggest challenges any salesperson has is getting through to top decision makers. So I know that's something you guys specialize in. Tell us a little bit about some of the concepts in the book.
Before we do the concepts, do you mind, Dave?
Okay.
I would love to tell you why. There are so many selling systems in the market. So what you do once you get in. So for us, it was really, really important to find the answer to how do you get in? How do you legitimately, professionally get in front of a decision maker? And so that was, honestly, we've been working on the solution for over 20 years since we've been in this industry of personal development and sales leadership. And what was interesting was through our clients and through trying different systems and methods, we really found a legitimate, honest way to get past gatekeepers, get past voicemail, and to really make contact with decision makers or high influencers. So that was really, I guess, the beginning or the seed of why we did what we did.
Yeah, and Jeff, to answer your question specifically, from a top-down, just a 30,000-foot answer, the solution to doing that has two components. One is the mechanics of how do you actually do it, right?
Right.
You know, what are the doingness things you have to do to make contact with decision makers? And the other part that bolts onto it is the mindset. You know, what kind of mindset does a salesperson or someone in business development have to have in order to reach a decision maker and to use the mechanics? So it's a combination of mechanics and mindset that make it all work, correct?
That's absolutely true.
Yes, well said,
Absolutely.
Dave.
Well, thanks, Dave. Let's take each one of these one by one, because obviously mindset is something you talk about a lot in the book, and you need the mindset first before you can use the tactics. So let's talk a little bit about what is the proper mindset that salespeople need to have in order to execute source selling.
Okay, good.
A great question. And you know what's really interesting, Jeff, and I'm sure some of your viewers will recognize this too, is that we don't always realize our mindset is taking us off course. Our mindset isn't supporting us in getting through to a decision maker or even making quota or driving net new business. What we've seen is that if you listen to yourself, so you can almost record yourself like we're recording this right now, and you can almost hear yourself be
blocking, I think.
yeah,
Blocking yourself.
I was going to say that you don't see what you're thinking at the time. Do you know what I'm saying? So you can almost then hear yourself where you're coming from. And I think that's the...
Well, give an example.
Okay,
So
the example
I
would
say to
be,
you, listen, I need you to make some net new calls. I want you to drive more appointments. So get on that, will you?
okay, and
And
Dave, I'm going to try. I'll absolutely go ahead and I'll put it on my calendar.
Excellent. And then I'll go to someone else and say, I just talked to Mahrnelle, and I asked her to make more appointments.
Right.
And she's on it. She said she's going to try to get it done. So sounds like she's after it. So Jeff, what did you hear?
I heard her say that she would try, not that she would actually do it.
Yeah,
Excellent.
And there's a good example of mindset, and that's what happens when we're doing live dials in class, in training. Our instructors are doing it, and we'll say to someone before they make a live dial, John, what is your intent on this? And John will say, what?
I'm going to try to get through.
He said, I'm going to try to get through. We'll say, well, we mean try to get through. Yeah, I'm going to try to get through. They don't even know they're saying those words.
Not at all. Not at all. That's why I was saying we're almost blind to our own mindset. So the importance is to really check in. What is your mindset? Where have you been successful in growing your business? Where have you been successful in the world of sales? And think about your thought process before you ever had that meeting or presentation.
Or make the call.
Absolutely. So I think sometimes we're blind to our own mindset and we don't realize how we're sabotaging ourselves.
And so there's a lot of conversation by sales individuals today about I'm going to try to make the call. I'll see if I can get through. The receptionist said she didn't think, or he didn't think Bill was in, so I think they're trying to block me.
Right.
And we have all these things about they're trying to block the salespeople.
We're going into tactics, so
Oh, we are?
back off.
All right, we'll back off. So, Jeff, fire away. That's...
Okay, so salespeople have to get their mind right and think about confidence, saying I will instead of I'll try. So there's some tactics, and I know a lot of salespeople are frustrated by dealing with receptionists and secretaries and, the people who answer the phones, and they get frustrated because they feel they're being blocked. And you have a different way of thinking about it. Why don't you explain kind of the different way about thinking about approaching those people that normally block sales?
Well, here's an example. We have a view that the receptionist in corporations is not trying to block anyone, correct? They're just doing their job. I mean, they're just doing a job, and salespeople are just doing a job calling in.
Exactly.
But where salespeople believe they're being blocked is because they're not clear about the mechanics of how to make contact. So they make mistakes or they make assumptions. I'll give you an example. Do you want to do like the role play, or do you
I'd
want?
love to.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's an example. Do you want to be the salesperson, or do you want me to do it?
Whatever you'd like to do.
Okay, so why don't you call in?
Okay.
Okay, American Products.
Bill Smith,
Who's calling?
Mahrnelle.
Mahrnelle. I don't believe he's in. Would you like his voicemail? Now, can we stop right
Okay,
there?
I
Go
was
ahead.
going to say, yeah, this is before reading the book, okay? This is what
Yeah.
usually happens.
I don't believe he's in. Would you like his voicemail?
I'll call back.
You call back. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's one situation. Let's do it again. This
Okay.
time we can do the when we'll be back. Okay, here we go. American Products.
Bill Smith,
Who's calling?
Mahrnelle Hibbard.
Mahrnelle Hibbard. And Mahrnelle, I don't believe he's in. Would you like his voicemail?
You don't believe he's in? Do you know when he'll be back?
I don't keep his schedule, but I think the best thing would be to leave a voicemail.
Do you want me to go through the hunt track?
No, leave it there.
Okay.
There's another example. So now let's do it the way that training starts to get you. Okay,
Yeah.
so here we go. So American Products.
Bill Smith,
Who's calling?
Mahrnelle Hibbard.
Mahrnelle, I don't believe he's in. Would you like his voicemail?
Well, perhaps could you see if there's someone that sits near him that may see if he's at his desk?
I'm pretty sure that he's gone to lunch.
Oh, okay. Is there a way that you can page him?
I don't believe he's here.
When you say you don't believe he's here, can you help me understand what you mean by
Well, I think he went to lunch. Probably the best thing, give him a voicemail.
Okay, so by any chance does he have an executive assistant?
Okay, so we might go that way, and that's how we would pursue it. So they're saying, I don't believe he's here, and so the salesperson isn't hearing, I don't believe. They can page that person. They can say, I understand, but let's try anyway, right?
Absolutely.
Or they can say, who sits near to see if Bill is in the area? Or they can ask for Bill's cell phone, correct?
Absolutely.
But they don't. They do what happened the first time. Well, I'll call back because they didn't hear I don't believe.
And usually they'll call back because they don't want to go to a voicemail, because they really believe that if they leave a voicemail, they won't get a call back. And although we have a 90% rate of making contact using the system with a high influencer or decision maker, if in fact that extra 10% you're not able to, we have a way in the book to leave a message.
Chapter 11, as a matter of fact, right there.
Excellent. That literally we've been tracking, and you will get a 70 to 75% callback rate.
Right. So it's got a very high hit rate on callbacks when you can't make contact.
Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting. Let's talk about one other situation where you're often, because there's a lot of things salespeople run into, but they always get the thing is, why don't you just send me something, right? Send me something I can look at.
Right.
How do you deal with that challenge?
So the way the send me something request works is a lot of steps. The best thing to do is look in the book. It's on chapter 10. But there are several responses to send me something. But there's an ultimate response called number 6. Number 6. And it's called number 6 for a reason. You can read it in the book. But the response would be, if a salesperson is in a local market and the person says, send me something, they can say, I'd be happy to, what is your email address, and get it down. Then they can say, let me ask you this. Would you mind if I put something together and drop it off at your receptionist desk? Not their desk, the receptionist desk. And the person at the other end of the line always says, well, that's fine if you want to do that. And then we say, when I do, would it be all right if I called you from the lobby, and perhaps we could put a face to a voice, and then I can always talk to Bill when he's ready, or if I'm talking to Bill, I can say, I can always talk to you, Bill, in the event you're interested at a future date. And they'll say, well, that's fine. And then we say, well, when are you ordinarily there? Well, I'm here all the time, but I may not be in my office. If I came by Tuesday in the afternoon, would that work? And they'll say something like, well, Tuesday won't work. It'd have to be Wednesday. Wednesday morning, would that be all right? Wednesday morning would work, about 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock's fine. And all of a sudden we have an appointment.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. They just said, I won't see you, or send something, and all of a sudden there's an appointment. And it works when a salesperson's in a local market, not necessarily on a telephone if they're calling out of state. But it's a great technique, and the book is loaded with lots of others. So that's what we call number 6, responding to a send me something request.
That's it.
It's really good stuff. Now, talk to me a little bit about this source selling approach. Is it for sales managers to train their salespeople? Is it for salespeople? I mean, who is your real good audience for this book?
You know, Jeff, it has multiple applications. So if I'm a sales leader and I have no training budget and I'm out there doing it myself, I would say get your team, you guys buy a book on Amazon and self-study it and practice it. We just got a call literally 2 weeks ago by a fellow, same situation. He was a small entrepreneur. He had 6 people. He bought the book. He started making phone calls, and he got through to decision makers 90% of the time. He said that he made 12 calls, and he got through 10 times to the person that he needed to connect with.
Pretty amazing, yeah.
So it was fabulous. So I would say you can use it from that perspective. We also have the process online, so if you're not in a regional place,
but who's it for? He's saying it was before.
I would say someone that really wants to expand their business. for individual production increase. If you need more clients, you want more clients, or you want to take market share, that's who should do it. Doesn't matter if you're a senior or you're just starting out. It's for anyone that really wants to increase personal production, client base, and ultimately market share.
Yeah, and Jeff, I would. And I would add to that, in a fundamental space, it's for any salesperson that has to hunt, that has to reach, as Mahrnelle said, a decision maker, or any sales manager that's looking for a tool for their team because they want them to drive more net new business, or as we call it, new logos, right? And increase pipeline production. So that's who it's for, and there's a lot of ways to learn it. Mahrnelle mentioned the book. So anybody who is wanting to reach a decision maker, it plays.
David and Mahrnelle, this has been a great discussion and learned a lot of great ideas in this book. For people who are watching this show that would like to learn more about you, learn where to get your book, where do they go to get more information about you guys and what you're doing today?
I'd say the best way is to go to www.soar, selling.com, SOARSELLING.com. And I don't know that we told you this, Jeff, but SOAR is an acronym for Surge of Accelerating Revenue. We are in the game of sales, and it is really important that, it's taken us 20 years to create this formula, if you will, so that we share it and that we make it easier for the professional salesperson to really make a huge difference in their career. So that's where they can reach us, and there are a lot of things on the website, white papers, and sign up for
Video.
SOAR Buzz. There's great video archives that are inspiring. So please stay tuned and check us out and see what you think. Our goal is to support you.
Yeah, Jeff, thanks very much for the opportunity to speak to your audience today. We appreciate it, and this has been a excellent platform, so thanks so very much.
Thank you.
And Mahrnelle, good job.
Yeah.
I want to thank David and Mahrnelle Hibbard for being a great guest on the show. I highly recommend you go to Amazon and purchase this book, SOAR Selling, How to Get Through to Almost Anyone, a proven method for reaching decision makers. And when you really think about it, the hardest thing to do in sales today is to get in and see those decision makers. A lot of us who have been in sales for a long time, and I was one of the top 25 experts in the country last year, according to OpenView Labs, but still, the problem always is getting that appointment, and this book shows you how to do it. Before we go, we want to thank our sponsors because they make the show possible. Avatage.com, great content marketing company. Digital Ethos, a nonprofit educational company, digitalethos.org. Communication Strategy Group, Brand Telling, communicationsstrategygroup.com, and Watchitoo provides this awesome TV on the web platform that we use for the show, watchitoo.com. Marketing Made Simple TV premieres every Thursday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. So till next time, we'll see you again on Marketing Made Simple TV.